Kyla.
Hi, Craig.
Hey everyone, and welcome to MyCareerBrand's Coach Snippet. And today we're going to be talking about how recruiters and search consultants interview and how to present with impact. So over to you, Kyla.
Thank you, Craig. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how to present with impact when you interview with a recruitment consultant or a search consultant. At MyCareerBrand, we do a lot of work with people to get them ready for their interview. And some of the key things that we talk about is firstly to make sure that you're well prepared. You really need to know the content of your CV, and you need to understand some of your key achievements and the impact that those achievements have had on the business that you've worked for. Any data, facts and figures that support the outcomes that you have achieved, make sure that you understand and you know that data too.
I think that's a really important point, but also at the same time, I think it's important too not to get too caught up in the numbers, and often also to be very careful about the numbers that you're presenting, because some of those can be very confidential and so on. So yeah, know your stuff, make it ready, but yeah, don't get too caught up in too much detail.
Yeah, definitely. I think if you're talking numbers and the numbers are sensitive, then you can often talk in percentage uplift, rather than actually the figures themselves. But the data in there does, is generally quite compelling and makes your experience it kind of validates. It's a validation, I guess, of the claims that you're making.
Yeah. And I noticed that you've also noted in here about the behavioural attributes, so motivational alignment and so on. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So recruiters they're not career coaches, and they will be able to help you best if you understand, first of all, if you understand your value proposition, so the value that you can bring to an organization and what you want, what you're looking for. So before you go into the meeting, be really clear on what those things are. But also when you're being interviewed by a recruiter, bear in mind that it's not just your background that's being assessed. It's your skills, your behavioral attributes, your communication skills, your presence. So it's not just about what you've done, it's how you present yourself that's really important. So again, ensuring that you're well prepared will put you at ease during the interview, and you're much more likely to present as your true self.
Yeah. So when we talk about presence in an interview, can you give us a little bit more background about what do we mean by presence?
It's how you hold yourself, and the impact that the gravitas that you carry when you go into a room. So it's a bit of a hard one to put into words, but having your shoulders back. I don't know how to answer this question.
Yeah, like it is a difficult one, isn't it? It's like, how do you look people in the eye?
Yeah,
that sort of. So making sure that you feel secure. And does this come back to the preparation as well? So when somebody's actually being well prepared, then they'll talk with more confidence.
Yeah. The preparation is absolutely key, and you've also got to make sure that you're presenting with, that whole presentation with impact is, particularly if you're sitting and you're reading from your CV, that's not going to present with impact. You've got to be confident about your experience and have your chin up, look the interviewer in the eye, appear like you're engaged in the conversation, with your hands on the table and sitting up with your back straight.
Yeah, actually, it's an interesting one with hands on the tables too, because I've often heard people when they're thumping the table and so on, or rattling their fingers on the table, and that can be a distraction as well. But the other thing I've also heard is you're over prepared, or you sounded too rehearsed. Yeah. So any hints around that on how to make an impact without actually sounding like you've spent the last 3 weeks rehearsing?
Yeah, nobody wants to hire a robot, so I think it is really important to be able to get the balance right. I think it depends on the individual. Some people will find interviews really nerve-wracking, and their brains go blank when they sit down in that environment. And for people like that, they're better off to be, to have done the preparation. If you're somebody who is quite confident in these kind of environments, just thinking about the examples that you want to talk about, think about how what aspects of your experience is most relevant to the position that you're applying for, and be prepared to talk about those. So have mulled it around in your head, but you certainly don't want to be reading from a script, or have a dialogue written out that enables you to tell your story in an accurate way.
So it's okay to take a pause as well and to think about
Absolutely.
The answer. Yeah. So, and then you've also, I've noticed down here that you've got on the slide value proposition.
Yep.
What do you mean by that? When somebody's coming into an interview, what are you looking for? If you're recruiting somebody or going through interview skills with the MyCareerBrand module, what are you actually looking for in terms of the way that they present the value proposition?
Yeah. Really good question. I want them to know what they want, and I want them to know what they bring to the role. So how are you, what is it about your experience that's put you in a position that you are able and equipped to tackle the challenges that this role faces? And what are the key skills that your experience has enabled you to develop that you're going to bring into this role? What value are you going to add?
So it's interesting because I've often heard I know we use it as it leaves some gold on the table. Yeah. So the interviewer, the hiring manager, the panel that you're being interviewed by should feel like they've learned something from the experience as well. Yeah,
absolutely. And feel confident that you're not going to be learning in their environment. They need to feel confident that and I say that with a little bit of caution, because there will always be a learning curve when you come into a new role. But for big, high impact programs of work, you want to be confident that the person that's leading that program of work has done it all before and knows how to do it well.
Yeah, and of course, we're always going to be learning on the job. But I think, if I understand correctly, what you're saying is that the degree of learning that you're going to be doing is, if you like, is going to be proactive learning and not going to be negatively impacting what you need to get done for that particular organization, to the degree where it's hindering the outcome that they need. So I think it's what you're saying is go in there with confidence, not arrogance. Yeah. Go in there making sure that what you're talking about, the goal that you're leaving on the table, is aligned to what they want to achieve, and that will be creating a presence as well. So that person you're going to be leaving them with some wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. Well, hey, thanks very much for that. Is there anything else that any other sort of like that you can throw in there for candidates when they're going into an interview?
No, I think in my next or in our next session, we're going to talk about how to prepare for an interview in terms of sort of aligning your experience to the challenges that you'll face in the role. So, tune into that one.
Excellent. Hey, well, Kaela, thanks very much for your time today, and we'll look forward to the next vlog that we do with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.